Hello, this is RV Vagabond Jerry, and in this video I'm going to show you two state parks in West Virginia. One is Berkeley Springs State Park, and the first one is Valley Falls State Park. Valley Falls has several waterfalls along a river here. Very beautiful place. I'm going to show you that and then move on to Berkeley Springs. So come along with me. Let me show you what these two state parks have to offer. By the way, there's no check-in gate here and no admission fee to get in to see the park. So when you get to the park, you have to park in this parking lot here, and the visitor center only opens at noon and only on weekends and holidays. There are some hiking trails up that way, but the main thing is to cross this bridge, which is just a footbridge. You can't take any vehicles on it. They have a map of the area here, and you can see there are just many trails. These are all just hiking trails. The park is right here, and you just cross the river right there, and this is the Tigard River. And here's a description of the various trails that they have. So other than hiking through the forest, really the only thing to do here is see the waterfall, and then you can go kayaking and fishing. These are some of the facilities that they have. This footbridge just goes over this railroad track, so they don't really need a footbridge, I don't think. You can cross the railroad track quite easily, and I can hear the rustle of the water from the waterfall down there. There's a lot of picnic tables over there by the parking lot, and this is a really nice, beautiful view. Paved walking trail. Lots and lots of shade here. Bright day today. Got some interesting rocks here on this side, just standing up right there. And right near the river, they got a swing there. And I've seen a couple of these signs. They're really serious about that, I guess. And next to that is a millstone. This sign tells about it. And this is interesting. As it says there, here's another footbridge crossing this crevice here with a little creek. There's the river above the falls. And there's actually a series of several waterfalls as the river makes its way through the rocks here. There's the next waterfall there. And the waterfalls are just as the river making its way through a bunch of rocks in the middle of the river here. This is the second and third waterfall, and there's a small waterfall in the middle there, and then here is the last waterfall. The water kind of swirls around here a little bit before it makes its way down here. Here's a little more of a frontal view of that second and third waterfall. That is the nicest one right there, I think. And there's the last one. Well, last is not really accurate. I was thinking so because this looks so calm here. But then a little further down is another set of waterfalls. They have a gazebo here. I don't know what they would use it for. Well, this is news to me. There is a West Virginia waterfall trail. And here's a sign I've not seen one like before. And on this board here, they have the lyrics to either a song or a poem called Sage of Valley Falls. This is too much and too difficult to read. So here is a front view of what I thought was the last falls. Very nice. And then here's the still water. Well, not really still, but it's flowing very slowly. And then there's some smaller waterfalls over here. This guy is fishing. And above there, you can see the second waterfall. Boy, what a nice view, huh? Now this may actually be the last waterfall, although it goes through a series of rocks over here before it finally gets down to being a smooth river. So here's a shot of the last of the waterfalls that you can see from this point here. Well, this has been very lovely. Hope you've enjoyed seeing the waterfalls. I always do. Well, now I'm going to move on to my next state park. Well, Berkeley Springs State Park is right in the middle of the town of Berkeley Springs. And right out front here is a creek, which is still water, not moving at all. Well, let's walk around and see what we have here. Here is some detailed information about it. I don't know if you can read that or not. This is the main bathhouse, which has 3 kinds of baths, a sauna and a gift shop. The baths are all in private rooms. $38 for 20 minutes. And they have 6 different kinds of massages and other services here. Now this is just a little wading pool that you can get in for free. I don't know who Lord Fairfax is, but right behind there is a very shallow spring that you can get in. It looks like about a foot deep right there. And then over here is a wading pool that you can get in for free. And here is the famous George Washington bathtub. And I read that he did come here quite often. So that must have been his favorite place. But a lot of people like to just sit here and not quite get their knees wet. Well, now I'm going to go in and see what is in the museum. So I'm going to show you some things inside the museum. A lot of reading on the walls here. This tells about the town. And on this miner's cart is giant Oriskany sandstone crystal. Wow, look at that. That is about maybe 2 feet tall. This one is about 1 foot tall. Wow. This tells about Washington's connection here. They have an unusual rock collection. I've never heard of any of these. Well, I guess I missed the tomato festival. Boy, it sounds like this was some amazing water that they have here. So the springs here are not cold or hot, they're just warm. Here's a 1950s steam cabinet, and inside is just a stool. Well, that's a pretty interesting museum. And here's some more info about the water. And just below the museum is the old Roman bathhouse. Has several individual rooms. Like here's one where they've drained the water out. So you rent these private rooms for whatever period of time. And in this gentleman's spring, they've got 2 fountains here where you can just get a drink there, or you can fill up some big jugs also. And the water here is free for as much as you can drink. So here's an overall view of the grounds, and they've got a swimming pool, kind of an unusually shaped, kind of narrow, really long swimming pool. And I saw people in earlier, but now they've got it closed for some reason. Well, maybe it's not closed. I bet people just got out because it's just a little too cool outside. The lifeguard is there. So here's the Stillwater Creek that goes through the front of the area. Now there is a couple people there, so it's open. It's just, I guess, a little cool for people to swim in this time of the year. But it's a nice pool. Let's see what that says there. Pool rules. Typical pool rules, I'm sure. I see the lifeguard is getting a little bored on his cell phone there. This is at the entrance to the swimming pool. See what that says. Got the hours and the fees. So they're open. However, it's only open Memorial Day to Labor Day, which this is, by the way. This is Labor Day when I'm here. Well, that's it for Berkeley Springs State Park. Please let me know in the comments how you liked the video. Good day, folks.